Love a graphic.
Yeah, class.
I would say also my earphones are class, but bias.
Hello and welcome back to WBBL action here at the Crags Centre in Edinburgh. Today's game is a matchup between Caledonia Pride and the visiting Essex Rebels. I'm delighted to be joined once again by Rona Lightbody. Rona, what are you looking forward to in this one?
I'm looking forward to a great game. I'm looking forward to seeing, Pride being competitive. Essex are coming off the back of some strong wins, but I think, Pride are going to push them. I'm looking forward to seeing the matchups inside. Essex have got some good players in there, and I know Pride came up against that down at the Archers, so I'm looking forward to a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned there, Essex coming into this one off of a 3-game winning streak. They recently have defeated Oakland's Wolves 74-72 last time out. And Angel Waith was a real highlight for them in that one. 18 points and 6 rebounds. But I think, as mentioned by Rona, the inside presence of Blue Costa is going to be a key matchup for the Pride. Her first season with the Rebels, and she's averaging 11.4 points, 10.8 rebounds in 32 minutes of action. I imagine that Pollyanna will look to match up on her, which will free up Shan Phillips to take on the Waith matchup. So 2 key matchups for the Pride in this one, and we'll have to watch that closely. Obviously, a key to the game for the Pride once again is managing the foul trouble, which has been present in the last few weeks, and they'll look to make sure that both Phillips and Story are viable for their matchup throughout the game. Modranger, though, shot 50% from the field last week in her 24 points in an outing against Cardiff Met Archers. And no surprise that Shan Phillips once again came up big for the Pride with 16 points and 8 rebounds on the road. We'll hopefully have some team news for you shortly once we get word of the starters for both sides. But the keys to this one coming into the game for the Pride is how they manage that foul trouble, as mentioned. The inside presence of both Waith and Costa underneath the basket. But again, Rona, O-boards is going to be a key focus. Obviously, the last time out, it let down the Pride ever so slightly in their game against Oakland's Wolves. How do you think they're going to try and manage those O-boards and giving up second chance points?
I think, they've identified it as a weakness. You can see from sort of the quotes that are coming out in their social media about what they've been working on and how they're looking to communicate better. And I think a lot of crashing the boards, it's about desire, but it's also about knowing where your man is, getting them boxed out. So I think that's going to be important today. Essex are athletic. I actually caught a video when I was watching one of the Essex games, and it's of Angelique dunking. So she's obviously got that athletic ability that you can't get into a jumping game with players like that. You need to make sure you get them boxed, you get them pushed back, and then you go for the ball. Box first, ball second is what we were always coached, and I think that's going to be true today for sure.
Yeah, definitely that desire to go and get the ball, but making sure your man doesn't get there first. And of course, Caledonia Pride will go on the road tomorrow to face Newcastle Eagles in their doubleheader of this weekend. This one we saw just over a month ago now, where Newcastle came up to face Pride in Edinburgh, and Caledonia managed to get that narrow 2-point win over the travelling Eagles. So it'll be a slight focus for the Pride team today that they do have a game tomorrow, and there'll be a little bit of time management, I imagine, for the roster coming into this one. Good to see Taryn Cummings returning to the floor there in the warm-up. She comes back off an injury and has had little time practicing this week with the team, so it'll be interesting to see if we see her feature in this one. Taryn obviously playing in the National League last year for Perth Phoenix, and Rona, you mentioned having faced up against her in National League action as well.
Yes, I mean, she played very well when she was against us. Obviously, she's a younger player, but and we are quite a physical team. But she handled that well. She was great at bringing the ball up, and like I say, they almost knocked us out of, I think it was the Cup or our league chances. So she's definitely a player to watch today, and I'm really looking forward to see how she adapts and how she brings her game to this next level.
Yeah, definitely. The Pride's known for nurturing and growing Scottish talent within their roster, and it is heavily involved with Scottish and GB internationals at youth levels. Today coached by Donny McDonald, Bart Singers and John Day. How do you think the Pride will look to set the tone early in this one? I know both you and I chatted briefly around Essex like to slow the ball game down, and it's something that we obviously know Pride do a great job of doing the opposite of. What do you think could be the key outset from the start of the game for this one for Pride?
I think they definitely want to go with their running game. I mean, again, like we discussed, Essex don't tend to go too deep on their bench, so I'm sure Pride will be looking to exploit that, to their benefit. So yeah, I think they're going to want to get out and run, but of course they've got to have the boards to be able to get out and run. Got to make sure, and I think sometimes that's where maybe just in past games they've not secured that ball before getting going. So I'm sure they've worked on that. I'm sure they're going to get that going today, because that can only work to their benefit. They've got the legs, they will run and run and run all day long, and that teams know they're going to do that. So that's what I'm looking forward to them seeing to do, playing their game, sticking to their game plan, and having it work for them.
Yeah, definitely looking to get out in transition and try and beat Essex down the floor and get some mismatches early on in the game. We do have some team news for you. Essex have posted their starters, and so they will start with Waith, Munns, Begg, Costa and Kohlhaas. Kohlhaas and Munns will look to bring the ball up with the accompanying Begg, and of course that inside presence that we've talked at length between Costa and Waith. For the Pride, we do have a starting lineup as well. Captain Maud Ranger will run the point, with Rose Harvey and Ella Docherty filling in at the guard spots, and of course Pollyanna Story and Sian Phillips, the inside presence for the Pride today. Essex do like to spread the floor. They run a very thorough offense, slow the ball game down and try and look to go inside, but also can shoot the ball from three, and so Pride will have to do a job of getting out and getting a hand up on the shooters. They also like to run a horns action into a 4-1 set to then open up the inside presence of the likes of Costa and Waith. Waith also known for her abilities to drive to the hoop. And so it'll be interesting to see the matchups for Pride coming into this one. As we mentioned, Pride will look to use their bench and try and run out their legs, especially with that game again tomorrow, travelling on the road to Newcastle Eagles and Essex. Just the one game for them this weekend, but they will go on the road next week when Pride will have another doubleheader. So lots of action for Pride fans in the coming week. Pride are at home to Nottingham and Durham next Saturday and Sunday. But stick with us today, and we look forward to bringing you the action in this WBBL Championship matchup between your Caledonia Pride and the Essex Rebels as teams take to the floor. And so it will be Angel Waith for the opening tip for Essex Rebels, and she attended Long Island University, Brooklyn in NCAA Division 1. As Rona mentioned, a phenomenal athlete, and she'll look to get going early in this one. Both teams taking the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, and we'll bring you the opening tip here. And so Sian Phillips lines up against Waith as expected. Costa and Story, the other key matchup in this one. We look forward to bringing you the next 40 minutes of action. here with Stream Scene. And so opening tip to the Rebels. Begg brings the ball down the floor and finds a cutting Munns underneath the basket. Kick out to Kohlhaas is no good, and Ella Docherty secures the rebound for the Pride as they look to get the first points on the board. Shan Phillips with it on Waith. Waith does a great job of staying in front. And Ella Docherty just coming into too much traffic, and she'll turn the ball over. Costa coming down the other end. Great hand from Rongier to tip it out of bounds.
We know that Maud's got those fast hands. You know, she can strip anyone given a moment.
Yeah, active hands, active feet is the definition of Maud Rangier's defense as she gets a hand to it. But Munns gets that early shot to go for the Rebels, and so they'll go 2 up on the Pride. Rose goes inside to Shan Phillips. And the ball's stripped away by Kohlhaas. A great burst of pace to get up the floor. And is fouled on the 2-point attempt. And so she'll go to the line.
That was unfortunate down there with Shan. You know, she was being patient holding the ball, but Kohlhaas, a bit of experience there, seeing that she wasn't noticing her over her shoulder, able to come in and steal the ball.
Yep, and Kohlhaas, the German national, played 4 years at San Jose State. And when you look at this Rebels roster, they are stacked with overseas experience as they look to lengthen this lead. Good on-ball defense from Kohlhaas there. Manages to strip the ball away from young Ella Docherty.
They won't give them anything easy today, we know that.
Maud Rangier from the high post gets the shot to go.
Great find.
And Waith coming with it, comes up the other end. Finds Kohlhaas on the perimeter, driving to the basket, right hand. And tipped out of bounds by Shan Phillips.
That's just her usual game now, isn't it? If someone comes down the court, Shan will look to block them.
Yeah, she really is a defensive threat and is all over the court for the Pride. Maud Rangier brings it over the timeline, finds Docherty in the corner. Shan Phillips liked the look of that, but space just didn't allow a drive to the basket, and a travel violation is called.
It's the athleticism, you know, Waith has got there to just being able to stand up and absorb the contact and not move, commit a foul.
Yeah, great length from Waith. She's listed at 6 foot, which I actually would argue is a little bit unkind to the American player. And so, an and one opportunity for Costa.
And that'll be, I think, first foul up on Polly.
No surprises, Shan Phillips with the rebound. And Waith picks up her first foul. Ella Docherty bringing the ball up the floor. Oh, it's a great look into Shan Phillips, but couldn't get the pass off. And Rangier puts up the jump shot, but no good. A couple of deflections, and it'll be Essex ball.
I like what I'm seeing from Pride. You know, they seem to be playing calm. They feel like they're sticking to a plan. They know what they're doing. They maybe started a little bit frantic before, but seem to be playing themselves into the game and seem quite confident.
And Waith finds Munns on the backdoor cut, and that'll be a 2-point good for the Rebels. Rose Harvey with it, guarded by Munns. Tries to find the rolling Sian Phillips, but tipped again by the athletic hands of Waith.
She really is everywhere at the moment.
Shot goes up from Kohlhaas, no good. And it looks like Munns would have stepped on the out of bounds line, and so it will be Pride basketball. Docherty brings the ball up again. She's commanding the point here early for the Pride. Maud Rangier drives left. Can't get the heavily contested shot to go, and Waith will come up with it. Goes behind the back. Another great hand from Maud Rangier as Waith looks to drive the lane.
Maybe just got to look at how do they stop that ball a little bit earlier. Not let her get that deep.
Miscommunication on the off-ball screen there allows Waith for a three-point shot, but no good. She can't find the basket from long range early. Story out to Harvey. Takes the ball, screens, open for three. Don't think she realised how open she was there.
I think Essex, they're doing a great job of trying to stifle them on defence. They're getting out to things, tipping things.
Pollyanna Story driving on Costa and gets the basket to go. Good defense from Costa, playing straight up, but Polly manages to get underneath and converts the two-point layup. And a foul called on Ella Docherty, I believe.
It was indeed. Tight call out there in the wing, that when you see the ball, you go for the steal. Just unfortunate she must have come down across her arm.
Kicked out to Kohlhaas, drives left. Finds Costa underneath the basket. Pivot. Can't get the two-point shot to go. Munns will come up with it. Good hands from Ella Docherty.
Essex crashed the boards hard, as you could see from that last one.
Waith with the shot, gets it to go. A long two from Waith. Essex will extend their lead to 7 points. Sian Phillips with it, finds Maud Rangier on the baseline cut and gets the three-point to go. A great night of shooting from Maud Rangier last week. Yeah, she was phenomenal from the floor in that loss against Cardiff. Harvey bumped, and so she'll go to the line for two.
Great piece of play there by Maud, scores the three, hustles back, gets the turnover, sets up Rose. Great way to lead and set an example by the captain.
And Rose Harvey gets the first of two to go. Rose obviously played for Scotland at Euro C Championships, and although young, has level head on her shoulders and can come into this one and provide a shooting threat for the Pride. Munns with it. And a foul called. Unsure where that one was, but it looks like a hand check on Munns, and so the foul's called on Harvey, and I believe that'll be her second of the game.
It is. Just like that, we're back to a one-possession game.
Kohlhaas gets the 3 to go. She must have heard you, Rona. She heaves up that one and gets
Definitely.
it to go.
I saw Essex catch fire before, and they can shoot some shots from way out when they get going. And I'm sure that's something Pride will be mindful of.
Yep, as Elise Tweedy checks into this one along with Eva Kerr for Pollyanna and Ella Docherty. And a foul called. And Pride want to talk things over, and a timeout called on the floor with just over 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter of action. Pride doing a great job to hang with Essex Rebels early here. You know, it's really great to see Ella Docherty, I think, in this first quarter, you know, being calm on the ball, bring the ball up, something she doesn't do a whole lot of. And with the ball pressure from the Essex Rebels, it's great to see the young guard just taking her time and executing the offense for Pride early.
Definitely, and I think that's probably what's helping to steady the ship. You know, they're coming up, they feel in control, they're not rushing it. You know, their point is absorbing that pressure, like you say, and they're not feeling harassed to get the ball out into wing or to try and get something going too fast. I think, Rory, you'll agree, you know, Essex have got shooters, but they'll attack the basket, so I guess Pride are just going to have to decide what are they going to live with, and how are they going to try and maybe switch round, rotate round their defence to try and not leave open these open shots.
Yeah, definitely. This Essex team can execute offenses in many different ways, and if you kind of sell yourself to trying to deny every shooter an opportunity on the perimeter, then they can definitely suffocate you inside with the inside presence. So, as you said, it's kind of pick your poison at this point, and Pride doing a good job of trying to limit their offense. And so Begg can't get the first to go. But converts the second, but it'll stay at a 2-possession game.
Rose doing well there, didn't panic, saw Waith step up the lane, but just kept the ball under control, kept her dribble alive, which is great.
Yeah, and Waith jumping out, trying to force her to one side of the floor. And Rose does a great job, as you said, keeping the dribble alive and managing to open up the left side of the court. Waith called for the reaching foul on Shan Phillips.
Up her on to 2.
So Ronjay kicks out to Harvey from the end line. He's Tweedy dribbling across the high post, finds Kerr on the perimeter. As the shot clock winds down, can't get that one to go, and Kohlhaas will come up with it, pushing it up the other end. Drives the lane. Good defense from Eva Kerr underneath the basket, played straight up and left Essex with nowhere to go. And we're going to have another timeout. Timeout to Essex this time. They want to talk things over. It was a bit frantic from Essex bringing the ball up the floor there. Not something we usually see, Rona. They usually have a calm half-court offense once the ball's brought over that half.
Definitely. I think, you know, they've had Waith had to check out of the game. She's sitting on 2 fouls. That's great news for Pride. You know, it takes out one of their big threats. And I guess maybe they're just having a quick chat right now, just think about how they're just going to calm their nerves, switch themselves around a bit, sort of change what's on the court and get back to their game plan is what I imagine has been said down in the Essex end. Rory, what sort of difference do you think it could make to the tempo of the game, Waith being on the bench at the moment for both sides?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Essex, I've watched a couple of their games this season. I think they'll maybe look to slow it down and get a couple of ball reversals before going into the inside presence of Costa, get that defense to move around and maybe lead to some miscommunications. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. I definitely think they'll look to slow it ever so slightly and try and go inside to Costa. And so Munns comes off the handoff and can't get the 3-point shot to go. Essex.
Yes, like I said, they're not scared to shoot those.
No, not at all. Not at all. Rongier with it. Kick out to Harvey, and she gets the shot to go. Big 3-point shot there from Rose Harvey.
She has started strong today.
Yeah, definitely. Rose Harvey coming into this one, averaging 3.7 points, 1.6 rebounds, and 2 assists. She's already managed to find an above-average night on the points tonight. Munns bring the ball up. Receives the ball screen from Costa. A nice bounce pass into the cutting Costa, and she gets the 2-point shot to go.
I often feel bounce passes can be so underutilised. I love when I see a good bounce pass, especially in the key like that, leading to a basket.
Yeah, she definitely threaded the needle there to get it to Costa. Shan Phillips once again coming up on the O boards, big for the Pride.
Ooh, nice
Shan Phillips with the Euro step. Yeah, she gets the 2-point play to go. I think Essex have jumped into a bit of a matchup zone, looking to put some pressure on the ball handler in this one. Kohlhaas, who's found herself from the perimeter early, can't get that one to go this time, as Rongier brings it up over the timeline for the Pride. Finds Kerr, who finds Shan Phillips open underneath the basket. Good help defense to get across and put some pressure on Phillips, putting up that shot. Begg heaves from 3, and there's that range you were talking about, Rona. Rose Harvey brings the ball up now. It's almost a boxing one from Essex just now. Rose Harvey trying to go 2 from 3, can't get it. Yeah. And there's Shan Phillips on the O board and finds the basket.
That's just straight up effort, that basket.
2-on-1 for the Rebels, and they'll get an easy bucket in transition. It's been high tempo for the last little while, which plays into the hands of Pride, you would like to think. That's their style. Rongier with it from 3, can't get it to go. Kohlhaas looks to cross over, loses the handle. Eva Kerr brings it up over the half, and that's going to be a walking call. I think she might have got away with one there.
I think they're deciding if it was a travel or a foul. It's gone with the foul.
Gone with the foul. Might have just been bumped before that third step. I don't think she was getting to the basket in 2. And 2 shots for Eva Kerr. Yeah, gather step.
3-step dunk.
Isn't that right?
Yep. Craggs in the Staples Centre, no difference.
I hear you on that one. So Kerr converts her second. 5-point game here with just over a minute of play in the first quarter. And it looks like Megan Haynes has checked into the game for the Rebels. Kicked out to Munns.
She has. Looking forward to seeing her play. She was a bit of a force the last time off the bench when I saw her play.
Rongier brings it up over the halfway line, finds an open Ella Docherty in the corner. Can't get the 3 to go. And Ella Docherty on the perimeter, looks to drive left. Travel picked up on the onside step from Docherty. You know, it was a good adjustment from Essex to go to that zone and try and force the outside shot. But if you're going to force the outside shot and you can get a miss, you've got to clean up on the boards. And you haven't been boxing out the Pride and giving them a chance at a second go at it underneath the basket.
That can sometimes be the problem with a zone, can't it? Then people aren't very sure who's their person, you know, to box out or to get on top of, as opposed to in a man. It can sometimes be a lot scrappier, the rebounding.
Yeah, not that direct accountability that you have with the man-to-man defense. Costa driving into the lane, can't get it to go, and Rongier comes up with it. 4-on-3 for the Pride. Ella Docherty tries to feed Kerr inside. Stray pass finds Maud Rongier for 3, no good. And Partridge comes up with the rebound for the Rebels.
We're going to get it on the buzzer.
Foul called on the buzzer, just before the buzzer, sorry, on Elise Tweedy as the Rebels drove to the basket, had a 2-on-1 in the open floor. And so it'll be Megan Haynes that will go to the line.
That's exactly what she did in the previous game I was watching. She was getting herself to the basket, she was drawing contact, she was getting on the boards.
Haynes can't get either to go, and with the clock winding down, that will be the end of first quarter action. Caledonia Pride trail in this one 17-22, and they've done a great job defensively, the Pride, of trying to stop Essex free-flowing offense, and obviously have benefited from some foul trouble on D'Angelique Waith in the first quarter. Rona, what do you think the coaches will be saying to both respective teams in this break and play?
I think both coaches will be pretty happy with what's gone on so far. Maybe Essex coach is expecting a little bit more, but I think both coaches will be looking for more from their players, as in neither team is, firing all cylinders at the moment. They're both sort of just finding their way in the game. I think this second quarter we'll start to see, I don't know, Essex switching into that zone where they may be tiring a little bit because, like we said, they don't go deep into their bench. So is that just what he's doing there? Giving them a couple of minutes on the court without having to play that straight up D that was causing a lot of problems for Pride. Then Pride on the other end, they're learning how to deal with the Essex players. They're doing the simple things right. And that's all you can do at the moment. So, I think both coaches will be happy, but they'll be looking for more.
Yeah, definitely. And points from turnovers, Essex have had 6 points from Pride's turnovers in the first quarter, whereas Pride have actually had 0 from the Essex turnovers, and so that'll be a focus point for Caledonia Pride. But also one thing I kind of see there is both teams with minimal bench points in the first quarter. How important do you think that will be for Pride in Keys to trying to win this basketball game?
I think, getting a couple of their players, to step up, get some more points in the basket would be great. We've had Maud, we've had Shan, several weeks now in a row sort of taking on that mantle of leading the scoring. I think if they can get another 1 or 2 to get up and get into some double digits, they are going to experience even more success.
Definitely, and changing the 5 for Pride, Sophie Loughran and Sophie Leslie checked into this one, joined by Maud Rongier, who puts up the 3 and gets it to go early in the second. talk about setting the tone for a second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And Begg off the ball screen from Harlot.
Megan Haynes to the basket.
Pride. Drive into the basket. Sophie Loughran can't get the layup to go in the middle of the paint. She dives on the floor for it, and Pride come up with it.
That's what I like, bit of hustle.
Elise Tweedy with a turnaround jumper, can't get it to go. And we're going to have a jump ball called. And the possession arrow is with Essex. And so Caledonia Pride will get a chance to throw on a full court press.
Which they do so well. Just a bit of pause and play. I'm assuming a substitution.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see Waith back in the game for the Rebels. They've missed her in the first quarter.
Good hands.
It's like Kohas is checked back into the game for the Rebels, and Pride managed to get a deflection and will come up with the basketball. Ella Docherty running the point once again for your Pride in the first half. Finds Loughran. Patient offense from Pride, and Ella Docherty gets an open shot just at the top of the key. Elise Tweedy coming up with the O-board and then gets the foul.
They're creating good chances, Pride. You know, they might not be knocking them down, but they're getting them up, they're hustling on those offensive boards. So I think Donnie will be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, I said at the top of this one that offensive boards was going to be a key focus for both teams. You know, I've seen Essex dominate on the glass in their recent wins, and so it'll be a key to the game for Pride as Elise Tweedy banks that one in. Goes with the softer touch the second time round, and same result. Begg comes up with it. Slight hesitation. Good hands from Maud Rongier as she comes up with it, pushing the ball the other way in transition. Finds Loughran wide open in the corner. Fakes the shot and goes inside to Tweedy. Miscommunication on the pass there, and it'll be out of bounds. Essex ball. Shan Phillips checks back into the ball game for Maud Rongier.
She's put in a great shift. I imagine it's just a couple of minutes of rest and then she'll be straight back in.
Costa comes up with the O-board for the Rebels. Finds Haynes. Short corner jump shot's good, and so they will extend back out to a 4-point lead. Elise Tweedy with it at the top. Costa sags off her, and she goes for a dribble handoff with Ella Docherty. Good reverse to Shan Phillips. Drives in. Can't get it to go, and Essex will come up with the ball in possession. Yeah. Couldn't get the shot off before the 24-second clock expired. And Taryn Cummins checks into the ball game for the first time for Caledonia Pride, and as she makes her season debut, coming back in after injury. Good to see Pride using their bench early here. Obviously, first of a back-to-back schedule this weekend. They play Newcastle tomorrow, and so that'll be in the back of the minds of coaching staff. Try and keep players on relative minutes to be fresh for tomorrow. Kick out to Kohlhaas. Can't find the iron, and that will be a team rebound to Caledonia Pride. I thought Shan Phillips might have just grabbed that one to pad the stats a little bit there.
Yeah. Maybe she's giving someone else an opportunity.
Yeah. All comes up the other way. Mun's open. Yeah, it's good to see Ella having a solid game here early. She's struggled since coming back from her injury the last few weeks, but solid start from her and really commanding the offense as she brings the ball over the floor for Pride early here. Baseline out of bounds to the Rebels. Kohlhaas drives left, contested by Phillips, and it's going to be a foul.
That was one block stat she wasn't going to get.
Kohlhaas goes to the line for the Rebels with an opportunity to extend the lead to 3, and she does. And makes both of them. Kohlhaas coming into this one, having spent the last couple of seasons in Spain, now joins the Rebels for a second spell.
Polly off the bench with that 3 attempt.
Costa with it. Spins down low. Manages to get it to go in traffic. Loughran driving right. Kicks out to Cummins. Tries to go back to Loughran and it comes off the foot of Loughran and it'll be a turnover. Rebels coming up the other end. 3-point opportunity from Haynes is no good. Karen Cummins pulls down the board. And it's a little bit frantic. Rebels can't get the layup to go. Mun's with the dribble in. Great defense from Ella Docherty to stop her from having an opportunity.
Got a bit like tennis there, didn't it?
Yeah, it was back and forth, but offensive foul called on Costa. And so it'll be Pride basketball.
Yeah, I think she led with her shoulder or elbow.
Yeah, trying to find that space to get a shot.
There's finding space and making space, isn't there? It's that fine line and how you make the space.
Rose Harvey brings it up for Pride. Story on Costa. Rose Harvey to the basket, finds Story after the switch. Can't get it to go. You have to think in that opportunity there for Story. She could beat Costa off the dribble and maybe had a lane, but didn't take it. Interesting to see how that matchup grows in this one.
That's where she got her first bucket of the game, was exactly that. You know, she had it at the top of the 3 and she drove hard, got the bucket.
Costa fouled by Rongier as Rongier comes over on the help side, tries to get a hand to it.
I think they're doing a good job inside on Costa. I just think, you know, she's got that experience. She's a good player. She's smart. And she's just finding ways around it at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, an experienced player. Nominated for NCAA Women of the Year in 2020. Played her college ball at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Pretty decent player then, you'd say, Rory.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. Karen Cummins with it, drives left on Begg, and she's fouled, and so she'll go to the line for an opportunity for her first points of the season.
Great to see the girls and the team, you know, behind her, just as buzzing as if it had been themselves. That's great to see.
Yeah, real togetherness from this Pride team that we've seen throughout the season. There it is, her first basket for Caledonia Pride from Taryn Cummins. She gets...
That's her now.
And so the miss from Cummins on the second free throw, and it'll be sideline out of bounds to Essex. And so Landberg has checked into the game for the Rebels. Still no sign of Waith after she picked up her second foul. Great steal from Cummins. Fouled by Haynes. Otherwise she was going to be out in the open floor. Great little spell here from Cummins in this one.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be letting the moment phase her. She's just going out there, she's playing her game and doing her thing.
I think it's going to be timeout Rebels as they want to talk. I think I could overhear the Pride coaching staff that maybe wanted a clear lane foul called there, as Taryn Cummins could have been away and onto an open basket. Donny protests the call there with the official.
If there's one job I wouldn't enjoy the most, it would be refereeing. I think they've got a tough job, those guys out there, don't they? For what they have to do and what they have to call. I say that as someone who likes to debate said calls. However, yeah, it's a tough job to call it there and then in the moment. I think it's one of those things until you go and do it. I've reffed a few games myself and you're like, whew, totally different perspective to when you're in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I like the use of the word debate there. Rona had
debate.
You've been a little bit polite on that end. But yeah, it's definitely a tough job.
Is what makes work hard. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Pride trail by 7 with just over 5 minutes to play in the half.
How do you think Donny will be feeling at the moment? Do you think he'll be pleased with how the team are doing, relatively speaking?
Yeah, definitely. I think they've done a great job on the matchups. They've slowed down the offense, got good looks as Ranger puts up a 3, gets on own rebound, can't get it to go. You know, Essex come into this one posting a 6-2 record, so it's going to be a tough game for the Pride, and I think coaches will be happy at how their players have played in this one early. Chan Phillips really wanted that highlight reel a little bit too much. She goes for the big swat and called on the foul.
I mean, we've seen it all too often, especially in WBBL. It can be anyone's game, absolutely anyone's game. So I'm sure Pride, they've got the confidence that, yes, Essex might have this great record, but they're sure as heck going to do everything in their power to make sure they win the game.
Rose Harvey will bring the ball up for Pride. Ranger finds Phillips, goes to the corner on Harvey. Kohas was looking to draw the offensive foul, but ball stays with Pride. Bounce pass from Harvey's picked off by Kohas, and Haynes goes in the open floor, finds Kohas again. No good. Great bit of ball movement to try and get that look. Yeah. Pollyanna Story comes up with it on the other end. Rose Harvey was late to get to her assignment in the full court press, and so picks up a foul as she gets there. Slight pause and play for some substitutions.
overall, I think Pride, they're managing their fouls a bit better today.
Haynes
nice steal
off a give and go, but has it, picked off by Maud Rongier. Finds Kerr in the corner. Rongier settling it, commanding the floor. Phillips in the high post. Picked off, and there'll be 1 second left on the shot clock, so just enough time to get it in and get a tip on the basket.
Who are they finding, Rory? Call it.
I'd go to Polly here. She had a mismatch on Munns.
Oh, that's where they did go. Just didn't get in.
Yeah, but maybe if she went over the top there, she could have got it off in time. Rebels come up with it. Ollie doing a great job on Kohlhaas. They were looking to go to her.
Great finish
Haynes
under the
gets the
basket
shot
there.
to go. Yeah, draws the contact and converts. So she'll have an opportunity for a 3-point play.
I think you could just see Pride, when they got together, they were talking about, get your hands up, keep your hands up. The minute we bring them down, that's when you're more likely to get called for those fouls.
Kohlhaas showing her frustration there. Pollyanna Story did a great job of stopping Haynes from getting the ball into her, and so a little bit of frustration from Kohlhaas.
And that's exactly what Pride would be looking to do, if you go out there to frustrate your opponents, force them into bad decisions, and then try and turn those decisions into your points. Sometimes it can be about as much about the mentals as what you physically do on the court. I'm sure we've all come up against players like that.
Yeah, I could write down a few names for you in my National League days if you want. Players who frustrated you and you never played well against them. But absolutely right, Pride will look to cause that frustration and try and find their way. I think the key number for Pride just now will be trying to eat that 9-point lead and keep it in single digits going into the half, give themselves a great opportunity of pushing out in front in the second half of action.
Yeah, I think that's something that people who maybe don't watch basketball too often, they might be like, 11 points down at the half, well, that's that. But that's nothing, that's 3-4 possessions, which can be seconds.
And another foul called.
I think that'll be on Loughran that time.
I thought it was great. Straight up defense from Pollyanna Story. But the shove in the back called on Loughran.
It's good to see Loughran on court. She was a teammate of mine last year. So I know more than most what she's capable of. I haven't had to defend her myself and had her score on me, so I'm sure she's got much to give at this level.
Yeah, and it's great to see so many National League players make the step up this year to play for Pride, and Pride being here to give them that outlet as young Scottish players.
Tight call there, early step in. Must have been by one of the Pride players. Getting another free throw for it.
Same result though, but Sham Phillips comes up with the hustle play to get the board. And Rebels into a 2-3 defense here with just under 3 minutes to play. Docherty, baseline drive, finds Phillips for 3, no good. Rongier comes up with it, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time.
What do you make of the amount of space, Essex are allowing Pride for putting that ball in at the free throw line? So that's sort of allowing Pride to engineer their offense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Pride's offense does look for a lot of high post entries, but I think Essex are doing a great job of doubling down once the ball does go in. Pollyanna Story fouled on that attempt.
Yeah, so it's almost like they're lulling them in. Like you can have that entry pass, but then we're going to try and pick
as soon as you
off.
catch it, we're going to put two on you. So
sneaky.
Story will go to the line, gets the first to go. And the second as well. Pollyanna cuts the lead down to 8 with 2 minutes and change left in the second quarter. Oh, double dribble. Yeah, good call.
I thought that, but then I thought it was my eyes deceived me.
Not one you see often at this level, but...
No, I'm not a player of that calibre, but I think she went to go for the pass, didn't, and then thought, I'll just continue. Hopefully nobody notices.
It's always when those mistakes creep in, when you start to doubt what the next action is. Roger drives to the lane, off balance lefty, can't get it to go. Kohlhaas comes up the other end. Munns on the handoff. I said keeping the lead under 10, but Pride might want to try and get that to a 5-point lead. You know, it's having those margins to, as you said, 2-3 possession game. Out in transition, Munns gets the ball to go, and it'll be a 10-point game. Commentators curse a little bit there.
See, there's that space that Gia talked about.
Yeah. Pollyanna Story with the drive, puts the head down, gets the 2-point layup to go. Essex come down the other end, just over a minute.
Costa's not on the floor for Essex. Pride have got to look to exploit that inside.
Yeah, they sit in that 2-3 zone when Costa's not on the floor, try and protect them a little bit, but like to see Pride just slow it down a bit in the offense once that zone is set. Maybe get a couple of ball reversals to try and get them out of position, and you know, in a zone we talked about earlier, you don't know the assignments as well because it's not straight up. Well, that was your man. A bit of ball movement might
also
get
just
some
to tire
for Pride.
And tire the defense out. You know, if you're going to play the ball and move it around, it's longer they've got to play in defense.
Yeah. Sham Phillips comes up with a 2-point. Yeah. Great hustle from Pollyanna Story, gets on the floor. And
great work.
No. And so that'll be the end of the half, folks. Caledonia Pride 33, Essex Rebels 39. A 6-point lead for the Rebels going into the half. And just at the start of the half, we'd like to give a big thanks to our sponsors and their unrelented support this season. BIVA RE, leaders in renewable energy, project development and service provider, and of course University of Edinburgh Sport and Exercise in support of women's basketball. Ember Compliance for management system consultancy for fire and safety, and of course the travel partner for the Pride, who will get the team safely to Newcastle tomorrow, Hayes Coaches. Thanks to them as our official transport partner. And last but not least, Story and Story for the best in brand development. And so, Rona, it's been a busy week for women in sport. What's been the main kind of highlights for you? Been a lot of presence on social media over the last week with International Women's Day.
Yeah, I mean, International Women's Day, I felt it was really well embraced. I mean, it sounds a bit cheesy to say you felt the love, but you could really see so many people from schools, youth groups, businesses, just sort of coming together, making their pledges. People might just have seen a lot of this and being like, "What is that about?" So hopefully, that got people intrigued, that they went and had a look at it. Maybe they did or didn't know what was going on, but I think it just really shows everyone has their part to play. I mean, males, females, young, old, new to the game, never been in the game, not part of the game. It just shows how many people are involved and they want to be involved in all walks of life, and just trying to break down gender barriers and gender stereotypes and try and create a more equal playing field. And I mean, I know I felt really inspired during the week and what I saw, and just people, reaching out. Even after I'd done this commentating, it was great to see, there is that support community. I think all too often we can all be a little bit guilty, of being like, oh, that was great, but not saying to the person, or, wondering how someone got where they are, but not reaching out. And if there's one underlying theme I've found recently, it's, anyone within the basketball community, they're willing to talk about their experiences, they're wanting to help people. I had a call last night with Neil Harrow, he's out coaching at Troy University out in the States. They're about to start their March Madness run because they won their conference. He was saying anything I can do to help. You'd happily jump on Zooms, do chats. And I think that's just sort of, it's the theme that runs through, especially women's basketball. Everyone's so keen to get these girls out, get them playing, whether it is in officiating, coaching, wheelchair basketball, running basketball. And that's just great to see. I mean, Robin Love, who's probably one of our most winningest females for basketball, she has done a great video. And it's on, if you go onto YouTube and you Google either her name and Paralympics GB, it'll come up with, because they're obviously in their prep for Tokyo. It just sort of gives you a day in the life of what she's doing in her preparation. I would strongly suggest, anyone goes and catches up with that. And with the International Women's Day as well, Pride obviously were heavily involved. They were all putting out their own pledges, which was great to see. And I think what I could see is they're really keen, even though they're younger girls themselves, that they want to be positive role models. They want to have a good impact. They want to help challenge and change, the game and where it's at the moment. So I think that was just really a great thing to see from them. And I guess, with your experiences being out at HBU with, Donna that we talked about last week, and Becca, who was a teammate of mine at one point, and she hails from Edinburgh, they're out working there. And, they're doing jobs that unfortunately just don't exist in the UK at the moment, especially for the female coaching side within the WBBL as well. You can see there's a heavy lean towards male coaches. And I guess, when you spent your time out in HBU, did you feel that female sport sort of had more of a prestige, or do you feel it was more balanced out there compared to back here in the UK? Because I guess, the WBBL and what they're doing is great, they're growing the game, but we are obviously still sitting behind the BBL in terms of BBL players who don't tend to have jobs as dentists or development officers, or, they don't have these other jobs, whereas in the WBBL that's still quite a common theme. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, what's your take on it, Rory, about your experiences of being stateside as opposed to back here?
Yeah, no, definitely. Going back to your point around people in the women's basketball community wanting to help each other, I wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of Donna Finney and taking me on to be a part of her staff, which was an incredible experience. But also I had the opportunity to go to the NCAA Women's Final Four. Obviously there's a coaching conference there for coaches each year, but just being able to see the hype around women's basketball, it was in Tampa when I was there, which is a beautiful city, but the hype around women's basketball and some great teams playing. I was fortunate enough to get tickets for the Final Four and what was amazing teams play. Packed out stadiums for women's basketball, which was great to see. And I think going back to your point around, the level playing field, obviously in NCAA they have Title IX, which allows both male and female athletes the same opportunities, which I think is a massive step, and allows them both to have equal platforms to play and compete and kind of hone their skills, which is a great thing to see. And then kind of coming back home, here in the UK, it's great to see WBBL teams this year obviously streaming all of the games. I think that really brings it home for the fans, and in difficult times being able to engage and watch some basketball, which is great, and being able to get those links out there. Obviously it's not on Sky, like the the BBL games each week, but having the WBBL Cup final on Sky and commentated on by the likes of Kieran Akara, and some of the Manchester Mystics teammates went on and did a great job of covering that game. And I think there's some great streams out there in the league. I'd like to say we're part of that, but some great teams out there, spreading the word of the game and trying to get people involved in women's basketball and really get us out there as a program and see WBBL for what it is, which is a great league and a competitive league. So yeah, I think everyone has their bit to do, and International Women's Day, hopefully, Pride engaging with that and being strong role models for these young girls will be a great step for the future generations.
No, and I think, yeah, you've sort of hit the nail on the head that we are a bit behind, but, all the great stuff that's going on. And one of the things I actually came across during the week, a guy, Dave Owen, basketball.co.uk, he's launched this massive amount of stats and he's ordered them. And I mean, you confess that you're a bit of a stats geek yourself, don't you, Rory? Whereas I usually just am like, oh, jings, how many turnovers and what terrible shooting percentage did I have? But, for people like you being able to go and analyse that, and just for other coaches having that, I think it's just it gives another level of accessibility, doesn't it? I mean, we're not all massive football fans, but football's sort of thrown down your throat on the TV, so you can sort of have discussions about it, if you need to be. So I think things like that, and we've talked about Hoops Fix and the WBBL review, and there's so many good platforms out there that the more ways you've got to access, female basketball in this country, the better. And I think, these guys are out there doing their thing. A lot of them, unpaid, they're doing it purely out of passion. And to me, that shows how much care there is in the basketball community, and especially for getting females going. And like you say, some of the commentary crews, they're top notch. And sometimes I don't listen to them because I find they almost put me off because they're quite intimidating, how slick and how well they've got it going. But, it gives you things to aim for. But even a couple of months ago, I couldn't have imagined doing this. So it just shows you that there's so many places, like we said, the orange ball can take you, and there's so many paths that are open to people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, just being able to be involved in basketball at this time is a fantastic opportunity, and see this great team grow week on week. And as you mentioned, a young Pride team, which I think should hopefully inspire others who are maybe, if you're listening at home and you're a National League, local league player right now, if you hone your skills and put in the hard work, and anything is possible. And I think Pride give a great platform for that. And especially across the league, you see a lot of players now obviously going overseas and playing, in the NCAA in America, and then a lot of players, like the Rebels today with their roster, then coming back and doing their bit to be a part of WBBL basketball. It's just a great opportunity for young women in the sport to get involved and as you said, play for the passion of the game and the love of the game, which I think shines through in every possession we see week on week in the WBBL.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And we talk about you can't be what you can't see, and some people will hone in on win and loss records, but actually having a team out there doing their thing, it gives it status, it gives publicity, and it can only grow. I mean, if we'd had something like this when I was growing up, definitely would have been something I would have investigated and looked at and being involved in. So I think it's great, players coming up can see that now, and they can have aspirations, or they can go away stateside like you've done and a lot of other girls have done, and then come back, and there's a good level to be playing at. I mean, having played overseas myself, it's maybe not the walk in the park that you think it is. You think, great, I'll be overseas playing basketball, doing what I love. That's so true. But I mean, I was in Spain, didn't speak a word of the language. I kind of had texted my friend before I got off the plane, and she was like, say hola encantada, so I did. And then the coach responded thinking I did speak Spanish, and had to quickly tell him I didn't. So it's playing overseas can be a lonely place at times, and it definitely has its ups and downs. But maybe that's where WBBL can be a bit more accessible at times, because you aren't a flight away from people. The first language is English. You're used to the game. I'm always intrigued to see Spanish players when they come over and play in the British leagues, because I know I had to do a bit of adjustment when I went over there. I found it much faster. Either that or I was getting slower, I'm not very sure. But, definitely much faster out there. You know, they have no issue coming up with court, shooting their shots straight away. They play that faster pace, which is something I had to adapt to. But no, I think it's great to have, great opportunity, you know, especially for these younger girls coming up. It'll teach them a lot much faster than potentially they had the opportunity to do before.
Yeah, and definitely you see that togetherness with the Pride, and maybe it is the elimination of a language barrier, but they really are a together team. You know, every opportunity where they can huddle up and G each other up, the bench is always lively, and so a great thing for young athletes in the National League to be a part of. Obviously, we've got, you know, an endless list of National League athletes who are now in the Pride setup. You know, Taryn Cummings, for example, today, who's come in having played for Perth Phoenix in the last little while. You know, Jenna Beattie played in the senior women's league for Falkirk Fury for a couple of years, and it's just great to be able to give that platform to Scottish basketball, because it then inspires the kind of next generation who hopefully are watching today and know what's expected.
Yeah, and I think it also shows the great work these clubs are doing. You know, like you said, your Falkirk Furies, your St Mirrens, your Perths, your Lady Rocks, West Lothians, you know, Edinburgh Cool Cats. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone out, but you know, you've got all these great teams and they're producing these girls to go on to the next level. So I think that's testament, you know, to what is predominantly volunteers on the ground, what they've got up and they've got running, and well-established programs, a lot of these, you know, a lot of silverware under their belts, and you know, they're allowing their players to grow and develop at that next level, having given them the basics and got them set up and good to go.
Yeah, definitely. Rona, I think we could talk all day about Scottish basketball and the benefits of this Pride programme, but we better refocus ourselves and get ready for the second half of action here at the Crag Centre in Edinburgh. And so Pride 6 points down, and we'll look to cut down on that Rebels lead in this second half. 5 on the floor for your Pride are Ella Docherty, Maud Ranger, Pollyanna Story, Shan Phillips and Rose Harvey.
Do you think, Rory, that Donny will be looking for more of the same? Maybe a few more stops, you know, convert them into points, push them into the lead?
Yeah, I hate to kind of be cliche, but it's that first 5 minutes of the third quarter that every coach dreams of, is come out with a big performance, and I think that's something Pride have not necessarily been known for or have done well in the last couple of games here at the Crag Centre. So you'll be looking for a big burst from them in this third quarter to try and cut down that lead early and get the players up for this second half of basketball. Cole Haas hands off to Munns on the near side. Big ball reversal to find Begg. And Waith checks in to the game at the start of the third quarter. We didn't see her for the whole of the second quarter.
She'll be cold.
Ranger brings the ball
Interestingly,
up. Yeah.
No real foul trouble, you know, for either team. You've got Costa on 3, which could actually be a big factor, and Eva Kerr's sitting on 3, but apart from that, you know, some 1s and 2s, but that should set us up for a good second half.
Yeah. And of course with lots
great help side D there.
Yeah, lots of shouting and animation from Pride bench off of that one. And Costa, is that going to be her fourth, Rona, then?
Her fourth, yeah. That's me just saying, oh, you know, not terrible foul trouble. That curse again. But yeah, I think... Rose drawn the contact from her on the help D. Clever. Smart play.
Ranger running the point. Gets help from Rose Harvey. Takes the ball screen from Story, and good ball reversal there quickly from Pride. Finds Rose Harvey open in the corner. No good on the 3-point attempt. Rongier comes up with it. Ella Docherty driving the lane. Can't get it to go.
Offensive board.
Pride, yeah. Ella Docherty with a hand in her face, but can't get it to go. And Kohlhaas comes up with the ball, and Pollyanna Story with the hustle play. That possession arrow that just flipped, and it'll be back with Rebels, but a great play from Story to jam the ball off of the rebound, and Pride will get an opportunity to throw on that full court pressure.
I think, you know, Story's playing well today. She's kept her fouls under control. She's defending well, staying straight up.
Great to see Pollyanna back in this one. She's had a bit of a lull the last couple of games, but we all know what she's capable of. A great player, DB Youth International. She puts up a 3-point shot, can't get it to go. Kohlhaas goes behind the back on Phillips. Waith will get her first touch of the ball in the second half. Manages to sell the contact and draws the foul from Story.
Just setting out her intent early again.
Her first.
Just over 2 minutes for a score, was that? Both teams just finding their feet again.
Put it down to good defense.
Yeah.
Harvey finds Story, who finds the cutting Sean Phillips. Great look from Story and Phillips to get the easy bucket, and Pride get their first points of the half. Kohlhaas runs the floor and gets a foul call on Harvey.
Interesting decision to put it onto her left. I wonder if she is. I don't think I'd noticed she was a lefty.
Kohlhaas makes the first.
She seems quite a calming influence on them. She seems to be where she needs to be at the right times and comes up with buckets.
Essex Rebels have jumped into a 1-2 press, managed to come up with the ball, and Waith gets fouled underneath the basket, and so she'll go to the line.
Pride's coach there seems unhappy about something.
Waith can't get them to go, and so Maud Rongier mans the floor for Pride. Story on Begg, leaves the double team. Kicked out to Phillips. No good. And Kohlhaas once again comes up with it.
Kara did a good job there, you know, of just keeping the player behind her to allow that open shot.
Begg picks up her dribble, but Haynes is there to help and finds Munns, and they're trying to pound it inside to Waith as she goes against Shan Phillips. Shan Phillips with great defense. And a foul called on Kohlhaas.
Maybe just forced that last shot up there. Maybe she was trying to draw the foul, but She had so many on her. There must have been an open man somewhere.
A straight pass from Story is picked off, and so Rebels will come down with it. Begg brings it up over the timeline, finds Munns in the corner. Sagged off from Story and Docherty, and she manages to get the jump shot to go. Story tries the extra pass, picked off. Pride struggling to get points on the board here early in the third, and they just need to find their rhythm and get it going. Shan Phillips needs to go out to Kerr. And Pride have settled for an outside shot on the last couple of possessions. Rona, what do you think they'll look to go to in the next little while? It's not really working for them right now as Rangier gets that tip.
I think Donny's probably going to be wanting them to go inside, but it can be tempting, can't it, as a player when you're given the space out in the 3-point line to shoot it. As sometimes that route 2 is the more challenging one to take, and Essex seem to be allowing the outside shot. So yeah, I think that's just Pride are going to just have to try and push it in a little bit harder.
Yeah, as Essex get the 3-point shot to go, Munns in the corner with it. So Ashley Munns will extend to 13 points on the night with a foul at the half court, and Pride will have the ball in possession. Pride have struggled since Essex have thrown on that full court press though, Rona. Just maybe over dribbling ever so slightly.
Yeah, it seems to just have caught them unaware a little bit. I think I actually heard Benna, one of their players, saying, remember and hit the middle. So they'll have a plan. It's just in the heat of the moment making sure you stick to it.
Yeah, and with such a young team, that's sometimes hard to do in the moment. So Haynes drives with it, kicks out to Begg. Begg to Kohlhaas at the top. Lets fly. No good, and Rangier comes up with a rebound. Oleana finds a cutting Shan Phillips, and there's an easy 2 for Pride. Eva Kerr putting pressure on the ball handler. That's not somewhere you usually see her, and she picks up a foul.
I think that'll push her onto her 4th.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to take a seat for, yeah. So Begg brings the ball over the halfway line for the Rebels. Munns with the cross-court pass to Haynes, and a travelling violation call on Haynes. Waith demanding her teammates to get up in the full court pressure. Lots of intensity from this Rebels side in this third quarter. Shan Phillips struggles to get it in, but manages to find Rangier at the half. So Loughran puts up the 3, can't get it to go. Begg finds Kohlhaas in the open floor. Great vision from Begg, and timeout. Yeah, timeout from Caledonia, as they will want to talk things through. Just a frantic start to the third quarter for Caledonia Pride.
Yeah, I feel they've just, they've picked up a couple more fouls than they had done sort of the rest of the game, and they've maybe gone away from their game plan a little bit, and they're allowing Essex to sort of dictate down in the offensive end what they're going to be doing. Maybe, Donny's probably just having a word about, we know our role, your jobs, especially, with Kostoff. Yes, Waith's on the court, and she's athletic, but you've just got to go at them. You won't know unless you try. So I'm sure they'll come back. They'll have a bit more of a look about that inside as well, because they're more than capable. And I think if you're the Essex coach, you're probably looking at them to keep going how they're going. especially whilst they don't have the presence of Costa. Actually, you know, it's a loss for them having to take her out, but they've been able to put in, you know, a bit more of a high tempo, high court press, like you said, that's forced some turnovers and some points for them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Waith putting pressure on the inbounder on that full court press. I wouldn't want to be the inbound passer with the length standing in front of me, trying to deny the pass. So Pride have done a good job of getting the ball in, and just unfortunate with a couple of turnovers at the half court. Phillips drives lane, switches back to her left and gets it to go, finishing right hand on the left side. An unorthodox finish from Phillips, but she gets it to go. Haynes running the floor for Rebels.
I was going to say, are we surprised that Shan got to the hoop and finished? I mean, just what she does, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of bodies in the way between us and that view of Phillips getting to the basket, but she somehow managed to get it to go. Harvey finds Story inside, but can't get the soft touch to finish. And so it'll be Rebels ball. Pride will throw on the full court pressure. Oh, Haynes with the lob pass. Yeah. So Pride basketball.
Right idea.
An opportunity here to cut the lead down to single digits for the Pride as Harvey brings the ball up the floor. Pollyanna just throwing it into Phillips, maybe just a little bit early before she got her position on the defender. And Essex tip it out of bounds. Pride ball underneath the basket.
Chance to check out.
So Taryn Cummins comes back into the game. Yeah.
Did a good shift earlier.
Cummins backs down on Kohlhaas. Kick out to Story, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. It's the third or fourth shot clock violation of the game for the Pride. Just struggling in the small numbers of the shot clock to get something off.
I could hear their bench shouting, but I think it must just not have registered.
So Haynes with the ball, guarded by Story. Waith wanted the ball down low. She had a mismatch on Cummins, but couldn't get the pass in. Cummins into Harvey, and Waith comes on the double team, manages to pick it off. Haynes kicks out to Kohlhaas. Nuns driving baseline and steps out of bounds, and it will be Pride basketball.
Some good D there as well, you know, giving her the baseline, but also making sure wasn't able to come back across.
Yeah, the baseline's your friend, as many coaches will say, and force them to step out of bounds. Goes Harvey with the floater, gets it to go. Nice finish from Rose. Rebels will come down with it. Haynes goes behind the back on Cummins. Loughran does a great job of switching the screen from Waith. Manages to put pressure on the ball handler. The shot goes
daggers.
In. Yeah.
Daggers.
You mentioned the shooting capabilities of this Essex Rebels team, and we're really seeing that in this third quarter.
Which isn't really when you want a team you're feeling confident and behind the arc.
Angers weaves through the double team, can't get it to go, but Story's there to clean up on the boards. So the lead is back down to single digits. Begg with the jump shot. She's been quiet tonight, can't get that one to go. Turnover, it'll be Essex ball. Just looking at the box score here, Rona, and Rose Harvey with 7 points tonight. She's been phenomenal for Pride in contributing on the scoring end.
Definitely, I think you can see how even the scoring is. You know, Shanzig, McLean, and you've got 8, 7, 8. I think, you know, that's exactly the sort of team they are, where they just sort of need everybody to contribute, put in their shift. It makes you so much harder to defend as well.
Yeah, when you don't know where the scoring's from, teams have to really pay attention and give you the respect you earned.
Yeah, if you have 1 or 2 scoring threats, you know, coaches will scout that, they'll see that, they'll come up with plans to stop that. But, you know, if you're like, oh, it could be hard day, we'll come off the bench and chip in, you know, that makes you a whole different sort of piece, really, to have to deal with.
Definitely, as Haynes gets an open run at the basket, but at least Tweedy gets a hand to the shot, and so Pride will come down the other end with just over a minute to play in the third quarter here at the Prague Centre in Edinburgh. Ranger can't get the 3-point shot to go. Sophie Loughran tries to throw it off.
Yeah, try to play off the player.
Yeah,
smart play.
Couldn't get it to go. I think she stepped out of bounds. Yeah. Let's go Haynes with the ball now, guarded by Cummings. Wraith down low, goes to work on Tweedy, can't get it to go, and Ranger does a great job of tipping the rebound, but in turn takes out her own player, and so Wraith is fouled. 2 shots coming up for the American guard.
Having seen the damage, you know, she can do as a player, they've managed to keep her relatively quiet, which I think the coaching team will be pleased with, and that's, you know, testament to Pride, having worked on her D and just doing a great solid job on her. I think she's still, you know, down 3-4 points at the moment.
Yeah, 3-4 points, and she's averaging 19 points and 9.5 assists on the season. So a great job from Pride to keep her quiet tonight. Wraith puts it up, but can't get it to go, and so Pride come down with the rebound. Rebels lead by 11. There's 2 shot clocks left in this one, and a travel called on Sophie Loughran as she drives the lane. Pride will get the ball back here. It's a 4-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Begg brings the ball up over the half. It's going to be a foul called on, I believe, Karen Cummings.
And they're in the penalty, so they'll get 2.
Haynes gets the first to go, the GB under-18 international. She's done a great job of running the floor for the Rebels in this second half.
Yep.
And she goes 2 from 2.
She definitely has a lot to give, you know, coming off that bench. She's part of a big roster, but she certainly earns her minutes and puts in a great show.
Ranger off the ball screen from Kerr, rolling to the basket, can't get the layup to go. It's a great look for the Pride to end the third quarter, but couldn't get it to drop, and so we'll take a quick break. The end of quarter score is Caledonia Pride 43, Essex Rebels 56. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with you ahead of quarter 4 action. And so the fourth and final quarter of action coming up. Caledonia Pride trailing by 13 in this one with just 10 minutes to play. Update for WBBL fans around the league. I think in this one they really need to settle into that full court pressure, try and get press break, move the ball early in the full court, and then with Costa being back on the floor, can they get some outside looks? Cam Phillips did a great job of cutting to the basket in the third quarter to get a couple of looks for the Pride. Cam Phillips comes up with a steal off the end line, finds Rongier, and so they'll have another possession. Rose Harvey gets the shot to go on Kohlhaas, and Cam Phillips once again getting a hand to the inbound pass from Essex. Back-to-back turnovers off of the inbounds. That's the kind of intensity that Donnie McDonald and the coaching staff of Pride would have wanted in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's like textbook start.
Cam Phillips driving right, guarded by Waith, finds Rongier on the three-point shot, and she gets it to go.
Great intensity,
what a shooting threat she can bring. Yeah. Cummings gets a hand to it, but Waith manages to recover it. Oh, and Kohlhaas with the wraparound pass on Kerr, but it goes stray and out of bounds, and Pride will come up with the ball. That's 3 turnovers in the first minute of action for the Rebels. Great intensity, as you say, Rona, from Pride in this one.
Most definitely, and I think, if you're the Essex coach, you're probably given some form of instruction about, calm down, take a deep breath, whereas at Pride, they've come out, they're absolutely smashing it in the opening few minutes. And with that wraparound pass, I think, Kohlhaas, she also wrapped herself around. It looked a sore one that she took, but she's bounced back up.
Yep, and just to update for everyone that Seven Oaks Suns defeated Durham 79-59 earlier today. Durham obviously will visit the Crag Centre next Sunday to take on Pride. So I'm sure the coaches will be watching that one back later today. Rongier with the jump shot at the elbow and fouled, gets it to go, and so she'll have an opportunity to convert the three-point play.
Big shot, big play, Maud's got a bit of everything going on.
Good time for her to be finding the bottom of the basket for Pride.
Just like that, we've got a 5-point game. It's going to be a good last 8 or 9 minutes.
And And so Munns dribbles across, finds Waith underneath the basket. Kerr on Costa at the high post. Sham Phillips does a great job of staying in front, staying upright on Waith.
It's just forcing it a little bit too much.
And Costa gets that one to go. Great help defense in the low post there from Pride. You know, as soon as the ball was entered, they had another teammate coming in to tag and help. Angers, who's hit one already this quarter, can't get that one to go. It was a little bit deeper than our last. And Essex almost turning the ball over. Could have wiped out the camera there, but managed to recover it. And Ashley Munns puts the 3-ball up, can't get it to go.
Polly checking back in. Her versus Costa.
Yeah, these are the matchups we came to see today. Pollyanna matching up on Costa and Sham Phillips on Waith as Kohlhaas drives in on Cummings. Does a great job.
I think that's one of the things about Cummings that I found about her. You know, she's a solid player. She's strong, and like you just saw there, you know, she can take that contact and she can give it back, and that's a great attribute to have.
Ranger off the ball screen, step back, gets it to go, and Maud Ranger with 9 points in the fourth quarter already. Is my maths right there, Rona? It is 9 points, right?
I mean, 2 threes,
back-to-back threes, and an and one
that sounds
play.
about right.
Yeah.
We should maybe get ourselves a calculator, Rory.
I knew you were a teacher, so I knew you'd catch that, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. But I mean, what do you think's going down at Essex end right now? Coach looks like he's got the board out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to emphasize ball fakes. I mean, 2 inbound passes that have gone straight to the hands of Caledonia Pride, and then, you know, telegraphing passes on the offensive end. Really need to calm it down. Like, we saw that wraparound pass from Kohlhaas that went out of bounds, and just it's a little bit frantic on the offensive end for them just now. Got to take care of the basketball.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, I mean, you look, Essex have got their starting 5 on the floor. You know, those girls are experienced, they're good players. It's I think Pride have just managed to do what Pride are capable of, and have managed to rattle them a bit. Yeah,
definitely. And I think people will maybe laugh at me saying ball fakes at the professional level, but you can't, can't underutilize fakes. You know, some of the greatest players in basketball made their money off of that. So great tip from Maud.
There was a ball fake Temi Fig-Bentley. Was it last year's Eurobasket? She was on the free throw line. She faked it out. The player went flying out the 3-point line, and she knocked it down. So probably my favourite ball fake ever.
Yeah.
And she's some player.
It's a coach's dream to have a player utilise a ball fake and a pass fake. So
I'll be glad to utilise a layup by the time we're allowed to start playing again.
Yeah. Rose Harvey and Pollyanna Story miscommunication there on the bounce pass, and so Essex will come up with the ball. 6-point deficit for Pride in this one with just under 7 minutes to play. Ranger guards Begg, puts pressure on the cross-court pass.
Ooh.
That looked like a sore one from Pollyanna Stories taken from Costa. Both players vying for position. That will be Costa out of the game in this one. That's going to be a tough loss for Essex in the fourth quarter, but something that Pride will look to utilise.
That's good from Polly, you know, showing some maturity, playing good D. I mean, taking a sore one's always a little bit better, you know, when you do get that foul as well.
Yeah. Puts her body on the line, and Costa will go to the bench for the rest of the night.
There's Maud.
Ranger puts up the 3, can't gets the friendly, I wouldn't say roll, bounce, and so that one goes.
I think, is it a no basket though, because it hit the top? I think they're saying no basket because it hit the top of the board, which is unfortunate. So
it's going to be out of bounds, and it will be Essex ball. Ball bounced so high it went out of shot for me, and Waith comes down the other end and gets the easy 2. And so Rongier brings it up over the halfway line for Pride. And Pollyanna with the ball at the top. She's guarded by Waith. Gets a dribble handoff for Rongier.
Person you do not want open.
No. And Essex come up with it. Beg in the open floor to Waith. And so it will be a timeout called for Pride. And just like that, it's gone from, what, 5 a couple of minutes ago to now 10.
I mean, you are smashing out the maths today, Rory. But yeah, 3-4 possession game, just under 6 minutes to go. It's totally achievable. It's I think, between this timeout and I'm sure there'll be another timeout towards the end of the game, that's going to be the critical period now. Who's going to absorb the pressure? Who's going to step up for each team? And who's going to be able to steady the ship, stops and scores? That's going to be key. I think Pride will have totally known they can keep with Rebels and probably go out and beat them. I think Rebels potentially would have expected to have not had as tough a game, but you factor in the travel and everything, and you can just never discount another team. That's just something you can say across all sport, and Pride are proving that today, that they could take home this win. It's
definitely
more than within their grasp.
Good to see in the timeout there, Bart Sanger's obviously recovered from his knee injury. A couple of defensive slides to show Rose Harvey how to stay in front. I'm sure he'll thank me for that one. But Maud Rongier brings the ball up over the floor and finds Pollyanna. Great defense from Munns on the taller Taryn Cummins, but Shan Phillips. And Shan Phillips finds Maud Rongier for the 3.
For the 3.
You did just say you don't want to leave Maud open.
No.
Rebels have felt that punishment. Cummings comes up with a steal. She has been a nuisance on the defensive end, getting her hands to everything. Oh, good head fake from Cummins as she drives right, finds Harvey on the perimeter. Here comes the low end of the shot clock as Pollyanna Story will drive and look to put something up. She finds Shan Phillips underneath, who puts it up, and Story with the putback. And so it's back to 5. And Haynes just looks to slow the ball game down for the Rebels. Shan Phillips with the tip, makes the save. And Pollyanna
totally forcing it inside.
Yeah.
Essex, you've got to adapt, especially in games like this.
Good help defense there from Rose Harvey, puts Haynes off the drive, but suffer a blow of a 3-point shot from Ashley Munns. So Maud Rongier
great shooting by both teams.
A great backdoor cut from Shan Phillips. She set up that cut so well. Can't get the 2 to go. Haynes has done a great job for Essex of really controlling the tempo and being level-headed with the ball in her hands. Another cross-court pass from the Rebels as Maud Rongier looks to meet Begg in the air, and that'll be a and-one opportunity for Begg.
Maud has just sort of exploded in this quarter, hasn't she? Knocking them down left, right and centre.
Yep, definitely. She averages 15.6 points per game in 33 minutes for Pride, and she's had an above average night here with 20 points, and the majority of those coming in this fourth quarter.
It was an and one, wasn't it, Rory? I think that's what the refs were just discussing. I think they called for two, but she shot and scored one.
So she'll have to reshoot the free throw. Am I right? Nope.
No, I think what it'll just do is the basket will count, and then it'll just be a baseline ball.
Ranger comes up with it. Finds Rose Harvey off the ball screen from Story as she dives to the basket. Dish weak side to Cummings as she goes up, and Waith is going to be called for a foul. Will that be her third or fourth?
It will put her on her third, I'm sure.
Which will be something that Essex will watch very closely. It's obviously already fallen out of this one. Cummings can't get the first of two to go. Shan Phillips comes up with a rebound on the missed free throw. Polly once again with the rebound, and she gets the putback. Kohas just didn't do enough to box out the young Scotsman, and Taryn Cummins coming up with yet another steal. Pollyanna Story feeling it, puts up the three, can't get it to go, and Waith brings down the ball, and Kohas looks to calm her team, asks them to slow it down. She dribbles into the paint. Pollyanna Story with great defense manages to get the block, and so it'll be baseline out of bounds Essex ball.
Yeah, she's had a couple of great back-to-back plays there, you know, just score down that end, making the contact, then down this end. You can see she's frustrating them, that's great.
Waith looks to back down on Phillips, but help comes from Story to pick off on the dribble. Pride ball. Inbounded to Ranger as she brings it up over the halfway line. 9-point deficit in this one. Ranger puts up the three. Can't get it to go, and Shan Phillips once again with the rebound.
Great rebounding from Pride. Wide
Rose
open.
Harvey has all the time in the world to get that one. Can't get it to go, but Story once again on the boards. Gets it off of the block from Waith. Kicked out and swung round to Maud Ranger, and she gets the three to go. And that'll cut the lead down to 6, and so Essex will call timeout on this one as they will want to talk things over and settle. It was a bit frantic from the visiting side in the last couple of plays.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's worth noting though, you know, Essex game against Oakland's last weekend, that was a 2-point win, and that came down to you know, the last play of the game basically. So they're no strangers to having to close out games in tight situations. So yeah, Pride just need to keep turning up this pressure, keep getting the baskets, keep getting the stops.
Yeah, definitely. And Pride obviously had that close game here against Newcastle, but Oakland's in the following week pulled away from them, and so did Cardiff last week. So chance to get a close win on the board here tonight. And I would like to think the team would be in a great bit of morale ahead of tomorrow's travel to Newcastle if they could get a win over the line here.
Most definitely. Do you know what a great advert for women's basketball as well, and I think it just totally reiterates the point that, you know, the WBBL, especially this year, you know, everyone's taking games of everyone else. You thought Leicester were going to run away with it, they've had some personnel changes, you know, it's making for a really entertaining league, and every game is open to everybody winning it, which is what I love about sport, you know?
Yeah, definitely. We all love an underdog story as well, Rona, right?
Cinderella, yep.
As Waith backs down on Phillips and gets that one to go, and it's going to be an and one.
She's not been too great at the line today, but you know, this is when they're going to matter. She's 1 of 6 so far.
She'll go 1 of 7 off of that one, yeah. Rongier in the open floor, but can't get the stray pass from Pollyanna Story, and so the Rebels will come back down the other end. Haynes with it on strong side. Finds Waith down low. He finds a cutting Colhass, and she'll be fouled by Rose Harvey.
Double player down there. I don't know if they're saying the floor's a bit slippy or...
Yeah, just underneath the basket there looks to be a little bit slippy for the players. And so Colhass goes to the line. She'll have 2 attempts coming up. And so the game is back to 10 points with just under 2 minutes to play in this one. Rongier with it, finds Story. They go to play a 2-man game. Kicked out to Cummins. Backs down on Hayes, takes the drive. Can't get it to go, but Rongier with the hustle play manages to find Story for an easy 2. Shan Phillips with a great bit of pressure on Waith as she comes down the floor. I don't think it was necessarily a block, but a great contest.
Enough to put the player off, that's for sure.
Yeah, Taryn Cummins was screaming for it under the basket there. She was wide open. And Shan Phillips is going to be called for the travel.
The old call of Velcro when players have to tie their shoelaces.
And so full court pressure from Pride here. 8-point game.
Oh, straight into the same
under a minute to play. Harvey does a great job of staying in front.
Hours worth.
Good hedge from Phillips, gets begged to dribble away from the basket, and Colhass will have to heave one up. And so it'll be a shot clock violation. Good defense from Pride there. Gets the turnover, and so it'll be an 8-point game with 27 seconds left. Try to look to get a quick basket in this one.
Most definitely.
Rongier coming off the screen. Inside to Story, and it's going to be an offensive foul. Charge called on Story as Colhass gets her feet set.
That's unfortunate, but you know, she's attacking the basket. She's kept her fouls down today. I think she's put in a good performance, and that will hopefully give her the confidence going into tomorrow's game.
Yeah, and a timeout called from Essex, I believe, and so they'll advance the basketball.
Yeah, as I was about to say, I think just be taking that to advance the ball, take off a little bit of hopefully the Pride pressure, and see out the game.
Yeah, last thing you need at this stage in the game is an backcourt violation. trying to bring the ball up the floor from that pressure. So they'll advance the ball and draw something up in the half court.
Or, Pride turning you over and Maud being free on the 3 and down to a 4 or 5 point game.
Yeah. Not the kind of risks you take as a coach.
No. I mean, you do feel now that Essex are probably going to see this one out, but I think, Pride have put in a great performance and they almost seem like a different team to the other week, and I think they've got a lot of positives to take in this going forward. And Essex mostly stuck to their game plan, and they've had some great looks and some great shooting performances all round.
Yeah, definitely. Pride with 3 players in double digits tonight, and healthy contribution from bench players as well. So they'll look to continue that in tomorrow's game against Newcastle Eagles on the road.
I just
you can, of course, catch. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just talking over it. Maud coming away with 23 points and 16 rebounds. I mean, again, stunning stat line.
Yeah, and a lot of which was done in the fourth quarter. Right at the start, she really tried to put the team on her back with her performance coming out of the third quarter break. Polhass goes to the floor and ships it out to Munns, which will see the game out. And so Essex Rebels will win this one 74-66. Caledonia Pride, a great game as they go on the road tomorrow to face the Newcastle Eagles. Of course, you can catch that one on live stream. Go to the Caledonia Pride social medias and the link will be posted. Thanks again for joining us for today's WBBL Championship action. From myself and Rona, we look forward to seeing you next week for a double header as Pride take on Nottingham Wildcats on Saturday and of course Durham on Sunday. Have a great rest of your week and we look forward to you joining us again soon.